Hola chicos, feliz lunes, espero que hayáis tenido un buen fin de semana y vamos a continuar con Goya, un poquito más, es el final de Goya prácticamente, we're almost there. Vamos a ver los caprichos en esta hoy y vamos a ver qué son los caprichos y por qué son importantes, por qué estamos estudiando los caprichos de Goya. Obviamente es una serie satírica de 80 aguafuertes y fueron hechos en 1797 y 1798, publicados en 1799. We're watching these caprichos. We watched the Pinturas Negras before the Caprichos, and that is something that was done like this. I always do it like this because in class you present to class and it makes sense. But you have to pay attention to the years. These are the years, before Las Pinturas Negras. So what are these? Caprichos. It's a series of 80, no? 80 aguafuertes. There's a couple of videos that I want you to watch. They're from this movie, Goya's Ghosts. I don't want you to watch the movie. It's not really something that I would tell the students in the high school to watch. It's a little bit strong content. And the Inquisition at the time, there's some torture, awful things that I don't want you to see. But these two videos are very good, so you know how an etching is made. And also what was happening in Spain at the time. There was the Inquisition, so these caprichos were made by Goya at this time, and it's important in history to see them. But I don't want you to watch the whole movie. I have it in the class, not recommended, but these two are good to watch. Okay, ¿qué son los caprichos? Take a look at this one. We're going to start with El sueño de la razón produce monstruos. Obviously, all these caprichos, they're a satiric idea from Goya to mass produce. Obviously, at the time, we didn't have the photocopy machines that we have now. So he was mass producing these etchings, and they were being sold everywhere in Spain. Actually, they were all over the world at one point. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to criticize and to make fun and for people to reflect about what was going on in society, okay? Fanatismo religioso, what we were fanatic about religious. Supersticiones, Spain was very backwards at the time, I think I told you many times. The Inquisition, what was going on, right? Algunas órdenes religiosas, religious orders. And then he makes fun of pretty much everything, like law, el sistema educativo, teachers, like the educational system. He was denouncing human nature in general. And, caprichos is a name that comes from caprice, like having a whim, like being like, he did them in a whim. So that's what they're called, los caprichos. And they depict the life as he saw it, But in every single scene, in every single face, in every single animal that you see, there is a critic, there is a message, this censorship. He's talking about human emotion, okay? And only a genius like Goya can make something like this. He was actually the precursor of the modernist movement, and I think we talk about that one. If you take a look at this one, what's happening? Okay, hay una persona, está durmiendo en una silla, is sleeping, right? And puedes ver muchos animales, gatos, búhos, pájaros, murciélagos, bats. What's going on here? What do you think is happening? The title is here, and of course there is 80. I'm not gonna make you learn every single one of them. No. El sueño de la razón produce monstruos. Okay? What is he denouncing? When people go to sleep, and we're not talking about sleep in the sense of I'm going to bed and I'm going to fall asleep. No, I'm talking about reason, what was going on in Europe, right? The Enlightenment, and how Spain was sleeping. It was, you go to sleep, your reason is not working, And all these monsters, todos estos monstruos, fantasmas, they're coming about when you're not thinking with your common sense, with your reason. And Goya is very critical about the time. Okay, there's so many of them that we're just gonna be seeing like few of them. They don't make sense. There is some people doing weird things. Of course, the people of the time knew exactly what was going on and what was happening in these caprichos. Each one of them, you're going to see, they're black and white. They're actually the color sepia, but they're kind of weird. Take a look at them. Some of them are like, okay, naked people, flying birds, witchcrafting, lots of animals, like making fun of things that if you don't really know what was going on, obviously you're not going to understand. But every single one is a critic, and they have a number. I'm not going to tell you what they mean, each one of them, because tomorrow we're going to do an activity and I want you to pay attention to each one of them. Okay, some of them I didn't have any idea of what they meant until I read a lot about them, and of course they're the customs of the time and what people were doing at the time, you know. You're going to see a lot of animals, especially donkeys, muchos asnos, and you're going to think like, what is that saying? Like, who's this guy doing? And what is that? Until you really like learn about how Spain was so backwards and the society, the contemporary society of Goya was really like totally like crazy and witchcrafting was going on, and it was a lot of backwardness, like I told you, going on. You're not going to understand. Educational system, take a look at the numbers because they show there. You have no idea what's going on. Oh, there is like donkeys, they're on top of people. What does that mean? We're going to be seeing a little bit of that tomorrow. They all have a little title, so people knew what was going on, but we're just going to be seeing these ones. Of course, there's 80, so I'm not going to show you every single one of them, but the themes, that's something that I want you to think about. The themes are very original, okay? They're criticizing like bad education in the kids, the vices, these engagements or like marriage for money, prostitution at the time, superstition, and of course the church, the Spanish church that had so much power at the time. He was very expressive and the language was very fresh for the time. So after Goya, you know, the artists that come after him in the 19th century and el siglo XIX, they're going to copy and they're going to see these caprichos, these ideas, and they're going to take echo and you know, just like today you're watching on Netflix your favorite comedians and they're making fun through comedy. And of course, like all the caricaturists of the time, or like the funnies in the newspaper, they make fun of things. This all came from Goya. This all came from this genius man that was doing this back in the 1700s, you know, and 1800s, and making fun of society, and not very well regarded by the Inquisition. So he was censored, and he had to sell this to Carlos IV, the king, and put them out of commission for a little while. Not putting them out of commission, but really he had to, like, he felt prudent to withdraw the prints from circulation due to the Inquisition. Of course, if you were against the Inquisition, you know that could happen to you. Okay, guys, so answer the questions, write about the points that are more important, and we're going to continue with some caprichos, and this week we're going to finish Goya. So work on your graphic organizer, and tomorrow we'll do a little bit more of the caprichos. Os echo de menos, os extraño, y espero que todo el mundo esté bien en clase, en casa, y por favor hacer las cosas si no habéis terminado vuestras cosas. Beso muy fuerte del señor Espejo. ¡Mua!